What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Nate Hibbert, and today we're going to be doing a kind of quick start guide to Adobe Spark. Definitely something I've talked a lot about before, and I just wanted to give kind of the basic necessities to getting started. If this video is all that you need and it gets you off and running, then I'm super happy. We're still here to answer any questions that you might run into, but we also have a lot of teaching on this on our website, so if you want to check that out, you can do so in the description below. I also want to note that it will take some time to use this tool. So I do sell it as kind of this quick and efficient thing. I guess I should also note that it is a 100% free tool, so there's no harm in trying it out. But I do usually talk about it as like, it's quick and efficient and you can do things so fast. It will take some time to do what I talked about of just like understanding the language that this tool speaks and knowing where to click and how to start things and just getting comfortable with everything. The last note I want to make before we jump into some over-the-shoulder stuff is that this tool is constantly getting updated. So I know I've made videos like this in the past, but due to some recent updates that I just wanted to make another one basically. But if you watch this in a few months from now, then maybe some things have changed around. So you can either comment down below to let us know that we should be making another one of these videos, or ask any questions that you have and we'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. But that's enough of an intro. Let's go ahead and jump into some of the shoulder and I'll show you guys the quick start guide for Adobe Spark. So the first step to using Spark by Adobe is actually opening it up. So you can do this through Google, you can go straight to it in the URL, however you want to do this. But if you type in Spark by Adobe, that is going to bring you, if you spell it correctly, it usually helps, but that's going to bring you straight to Adobe Spark. And that's what you're looking for. There are a couple other tools out there that are named Spark, so you want to make sure that you're finding a Spark by Adobe or Adobe Spark, however you want to search it, but this is what you're looking for. Once you click on this page, as of right now, this is their home screen. This has changed up a lot. This is probably the thing that does change the most often. I would even say week to week. So definitely, if it doesn't look exactly like this, you might still be on the right page as long as you're seeing this logo up here in the top left. This kind of yellow S&P is what you're looking for. If it's your first time ever signing in, you can either hit Get Started Now or this Start Now button up here in the top right-hand corner. If you're returning, you can hit Sign In. So any one of those three buttons, they all kind of bring you to the same place, to be honest. So I'll go ahead and hit Start Now. And you can see that Adobe is partnered with all of these companies. So if there are, if you have an account rather with any of these companies, including Adobe, if you have an Adobe account already, you can go ahead and log in and save yourself the hassle of making a brand new login. But if you do want to do that and start fresh, you can use a new email and click this button. But I'm going to go ahead and use my Google account, so I'll go ahead and hit Continue with Google. All right, so it may take a second to load. This is a software website, so there's a lot of loading that kind of goes on in the background. But for right now, again, as of 2020, this is what your home screen looks like once you're actually logged in. So in your home page, you're going to see a lot of stuff about Instagram and Pinterest and other things as well. So you might notice that this tool is very heavily focused on social media. That is basically what they're pushing this tool for and what it's built to help people with. But I have figured out how to use this specifically for print on demand. So it's not something that you'll see a lot of options for or templates for like how to make t-shirt designs, but it is definitely possible inside of this tool. We've been doing so for the last couple of years, and it's been working out great. Next thing that we're going to do is actually create a project. So we're going to go up here to this button on the left-hand side that says Create a Project. We're going to click this, and like I just said, this is all the social media templates that they have baked in, but we're going to go down here to Custom Size Graphic because we are using this for print on demand. And if you're using this for merch by Amazon, they are very picky about the size of graphic that you're using. So it's important to make sure that you have the right size. So again, we're going to go to Custom Size Graphic down here at the bottom. Once you click that, it's going to take you to this screen, which allows you to type in exactly the amount of pixels that you want. This is the unit that you're using over here on the right-hand side. So if you're doing something else and you want it in inches, that's great, but we are focused on pixels because, again, that's what Amazon is asking us to change our files to. The sizing for just a traditional t-shirt is going to be 4,500 by 5,400. This is not a permanent thing, so I will show you a little bit later how to change this if you want to do sweatshirts sweatshirts or pop sockets or any of the other types of file sizes that you'll need specifically for Merch by Amazon. But I usually start with just the t-shirt layout, which again is 4,500 by 5,400. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next, excuse me, and this is going to take a second. Now that we are actually in the workspace of Adobe Spark, you can see kind of two different areas, and I'm just going to do a very basic breakdown here so that you guys can, again, learn how to speak the language of this software. So on the left-hand side here, this white rectangle is called the artboard. At least that's the way I'm going to reference it in most of the Adobe software programs. That is what this like kind of preview space is referenced as, is the artboard. And then over here on the right-hand side is the toolbox. And this is a pretty dynamic place. I'll quickly click through some of these, but this is going to change a lot depending on what you have on your artboard. So you can see there's lots of templates. Again, most of these are made for social media, not necessarily great for shirts, but sometimes there can be some inspirational things in there. This next one is the design. This is more templates, just giving you inspiration for things that you can create around, certain colors you can use, all of that good stuff. The next tool in here is actually the colors tool. And this is my favorite because I struggle so much with making sure that colors look good together. And there are a ton of these palettes in here from all of Adobe's knowledge and people who are creative putting these together. So you can click once and make your designs look really good and kind of uniformed with the different palettes that they have here. This next tool is the layout. This is more, again, for kind of a social media tool. I don't use this too much for print on demand, but this last tool I definitely use a lot, and this is resizing. So earlier when I said that we created this specific artboard for a t-shirt, this is where you can come and edit to make it proper sizing for either the sweatshirts or any of those products ranges or the pop sockets or anything in future that you're getting added. Or if you're even on different platforms, you can come in here and resize these graphics without having to create the graphic all over again. You can just change the size of the artboard, re-download it, and you're good to put it on whatever product that you want. Now, one note that I want to make before you guys run wild and start using this tool is to make sure that you're removing this ad at the bottom of the artboard. This is a very important step. This is a free tool, so they try to put their advertisements where they can, but they are very gracious in allowing us to remove them very easily. And all we have to do is click on this ad. It's going to tell you, you can remove the watermark forever on all your projects if you want to pay for it, or you can remove it just once. But regardless of what button you press, it's going to pop up with this little sales page, and they're going to tell you all the great reasons why you should purchase this. But remembering that this is mostly made for social media, so unless you're using it for some type of social media stuff, you can probably just use the free starter plan for now. So you can either hit this Get Started button, or in the top right-hand corner, there is actually an X that we can hit. If you go ahead and hit that, you'll see that their ad is completely gone now. And at this point is usually when I would suggest, if it's your first time using Adobe Spark, to save this exact file. That way in future you can just duplicate this and not have to go through remembering exactly what size you need or even removing that ad. And the way that we can do that is up here at the top left-hand corner where you see My Post. This is the current name of this design. So you could name this POD T-shirt sizing. And that way, when we go and save this, we'll know exactly what this file is for, because it's just a blank page right now, but we want to make sure that we're, again, saved all of this stuff so we don't have to do those steps in the future. And what we can do actually is go to our projects by clicking this button. And like I said, we are saving a blank slate. It's asking us, are you sure you want to save this? But yes, we care about the sizing. We care about removing that ad. So we are going to save this project, and we're going to go back to our projects tab. So earlier we were looking at our home page, and this is what was selected. And now we're just one tab below that in the projects. And this is going to show all of the projects that you ever create inside of Spark. They will be available on this page. And the cool thing about that is they're saved to the cloud. So it's not necessarily just on this computer that you can access them, but any computer in the world, as long as you remember your login, you can actually access all of these files, which is super cool. So now that we have actually saved that and we're in our projects tab over here, what we can do with this specific file so that when we go in and edit it, we're not just messing up all of our work that we just did, we can duplicate this file. So you can hover over this and you'll see a few extra options pop up. What we're interested in is this 3 dots over here on the right-hand corner. Once we click that, there are a couple options that will pop down, but we want to duplicate this exact file. So that way in future, we can just come in here, duplicate this, and we'll have the exact sizing and that ad removed without having to think about it ever again. So we can name this copy, or if you know the exact design that you want to make, you can name it whatever you want. We'll just leave this as copy for now and go ahead and hit this duplicate button. It's going to take, 3 to 5 seconds for that to happen. It might take longer based on their servers and your computer and all that stuff. So now, as you can see, it probably will get a little confusing once you start duplicating this thing out a bunch of times. So a new feature that they added not too long ago was actually the ability to make files and click and drag these things into different files. So I use Spark for all types of different projects, from YouTube thumbnails, KDP book covers, or print-on-demand designs, and in the different sizing and all that stuff. So you can click and drag and add these 2 folders to stay organized. The way that you create these new folders is actually over here on the right-hand side. There is this new folder button. You click that, and it will give you some funny name that you can start with, or you can name this whatever you want. And once you hit create, again, it will take 3 to 5 seconds or a little bit longer, depending on internet and all of those things. But your folder will pop up here, and then you can click and drag this right into your folder. And again, take 1 or 2 seconds, but once it's in there, you can click and see that you are on your way to staying more organized, which I think is a very important part, and something we probably don't talk about enough, is keeping all of your art and design files organized. In this quick start guide for Spark, I know I showed a lot of things specifically for Merch by Amazon, the sizing and all of that, but that is definitely not the limit for this tool. So regardless of what platform you're on, you can resize these files to whatever you need. And I think this is a great tool for anyone who's starting off in print on demand, or experienced and just needs a way to get things done a little bit quicker and more efficient. So if you're liking what you're seeing with Spark and you're interested in learning more, there are links in the description for a couple of courses that we've put together. I have a lot of experience with this tool, and I just want to share that knowledge with you guys, whether it be for KDP or YouTube thumbnails or whatever. Check the links in the description below. But until next time, I'll see you guys around.